February looks to be a great month for Nintendo Switch owners, a lot of great games across a variety of different genres. So in this video, we're gonna take a look at every big game coming to the Nintendo Switch in February 2018. Let's get right into this. Dragon Quest Builders. Dragon Quest Builders is not your typical Dragon Quest game, and that may be a little bit disappointing. We want Dragon Quest 11 as much as the next guy, but for now we have Dragon Quest Builders. So what is it? Well, it's a game that's already been released on PlayStation 4, and it mixes your typical RPG traditions of Dragon Quest with Minecraft of all things. It's got that building element, and right away when you explain that to somebody, it might not sound like the most appealing thing ever, especially to your ardent Dragon Quest fan, but it does mix these two elements very nicely, and it creates a pretty compelling experience. And if you're a fan of those building style games and you're okay with that Japanese flavor to it, Dragon Quest Builders is gonna be right up your alley, and having it on the go is gonna be great. It hits the Nintendo Switch on February 9th.
Forth to the uncharted lands to find rare materials. Of course, it's not just about collecting. Many rewards are won through completing quests for people in need.
Payday 2. Payday 2 is the latest marquee title to hit the Nintendo Switch. It's been one of the best cooperative games on PC and other platforms for a couple of years, and now it's hitting the Nintendo Switch. Now, Payday 2 is a title that had some performance issues on other platforms. Now, with it coming to the Nintendo Switch, hopefully it runs well on there. Payday 2 is going to be one of the best cooperative experiences on all of the Nintendo Switch, so if you got a couple of buddies to play it with, it's going to be an absolute blast, and taking Payday on the go is going to be great too. Payday 2 hits the Nintendo Switch on February 27th. Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 1. This may be the most exciting release on the Nintendo Switch next month, with the impending release of Bayonetta 3 probably later this year. Now is a perfect time to release Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 1 on the Nintendo Switch. The original Bayonetta was released all the way back in 2010 on the Xbox 360 and PS3, but Bayonetta 2 was released more recently, and it was a Wii U exclusive title. Considering that the Nintendo Switch is a way more popular platform than the Wii U ever was, Bayonetta 2 is probably a title a significant portion of the Nintendo Switch audience missed out on. And the fact of the matter is, while Bayonetta 1 was a fantastic game, Bayonetta 2 was an even better game. They both had great action gameplay that you've come to know from Platinum Games, that fast-paced, high-octane action gameplay that's a ton of fun. Getting both games on Nintendo Switch to have the experience on the go is gonna be great and will get us ready for Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 1 hit the Nintendo Switch on February 16th. Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap physical release. We've been waiting for the physical release of Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap for a little while now. It's been pushed back a couple of times, but it looks like we're finally gonna be getting it in February. For those of you that don't know, this is a remake of an older title, and design-wise, it looks fantastic. If you're a fan of old-school style games, this is gonna be right up your alley, and stylistically, it's awesome. These classical style games fit perfectly on the Nintendo Switch, and Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap looks to be the latest addition to that aspect of the Switch's library. It hits the Switch on February 13th. The Longest 5 Minutes. The Longest 5 Minutes is a game coming from NIS, and if you're familiar with the NIS titles, then you know what you're getting into with The Longest 5 Minutes. Visually, it's nothing to write home about, par the course with NIS titles, but expect from a design and aesthetic standpoint for The Longest 5 Minutes to be on point. The description of the game says, our hero faces the origin of all evil, the Demon King himself, but suddenly loses all memories of his adventure. His finishing moves, the name of his hometown, and even the reason he's trying to defeat the Demon King in the first place, all gone. Our hero tries to regain his priceless memories before it's too late, but the Demon King stands before him, his power unyielding. So you can tell based on that description, this isn't gonna be a game that takes itself too seriously, but I'm sure it'll be a charming experience. It hits the Nintendo Switch on February 13th. Owlboy. Owlboy was a Metroidvania-style game released on the PC a while ago, but it was a game that was received incredibly well from a critical standpoint. Over on Metacritic, the current aggregate score is an 88, which is pretty good. IGN gave the title a 9.3 and wrote that the game shines thanks to surprise varied Metroidvania-style gameplay and a charming cast of unlikely heroes, and that's what you can notice about Owlboy right away. It is a very charming game, and while this isn't the type of game I'd probably sit down and play on my television, Owlboy is the type of game I would love to take on the go, and the Switch is going to allow me to do that. It hits the Nintendo Switch on February 13th. Overcooked Special Edition Physical Release. Overcooked is one of the more fun games that you're gonna find. It has you working as a team, and you and your fellow chefs must prepare, cook, and serve up a variety of tasty orders before the customers storm out in a huff. Sharpen your knives, there isn't much room for error, and the stakes are high in these crazy kitchens. And of course, on the Nintendo Switch, you can experience that crazy couch cooperative action of Overcooked wherever you want. The game is a ton of fun. It's already available digitally, but in a physical form, it'll be available on February 13th. Portal Knights Physical Release. Portal Knights combines exploration and building elements with role-playing aspects. It provides a multiplayer sandbox environment in which players can explore, fight monsters, and build. You craft items such as pickaxes, swords, and tools to smash blocks, fight monsters, and construct elaborate buildings, armor, and weapons. The game can be played solo, but it is even better with friends, supporting online play with up to 4 players in the same world. Portal Knights hits the Nintendo Switch on February 13th. Fee. Fee is one of the more exciting games releasing in February that not a lot of gamers are talking about. It's an action-adventure game where you control Fee, a fox-like creature within a forest that is highly responsive to the songs of the creatures and plants within it. The forest creatures are being attacked by entities called the Silent Ones for unknown reasons that threaten the forest wildlife. Fee is able to sing to other creatures and objects as to gain their help. These creatures can teach Fee a new song, which gives the fox additional abilities through the forest, such as activating a flower that acts as a jump pad to launch Fee to higher locations and explore more of the world. The game really looks to leave the player to their own devices, and it's been noted to have minimal instructions, requiring the player to experiment and observe the forest ecosystem to determine how to progress. This is very much an old school style of game design, which I can definitely appreciate. Nowadays, you have a lot of games holding your hands, but Fee strays away from that a little bit. Fee is a game you should definitely keep your eyes on. It hits the Nintendo Switch on February 16th.
That's how the story goes. The story of the beast with those 4 dirty paws.
To fly and to fly. Do you hear her? Can you hear the forest speak?
And finally, The Fall Part 2 Unbound. The Fall Part 2 is obviously the sequel to Fall, which released back in 2014 and won an award for Story of the Year. The first game didn't release on Nintendo Switch, but you are going to get The Fall Part 2 Unbound that has you playing as an AI that is broken free of your shackles. Now a human user from across the global network has attacked and infected you with an error code. Make a new rule: save yourself, hunt them, end them, do anything, use anyone, become unbound. During your journey, you'll find and invade 3 different robots and attempt to enlist their help. You might be unbound, but your hosts are not. Will you work within their boundaries, or will you smash them? Do you even have a choice? The Fall Part 2 Unbound is a very unique game with a heavy emphasis on its storytelling. We don't have an exact release date for the title, but it is confirmed to launch sometime in February.
Is my tomb.
What emerges unbound from the debris could undo us.
These bodies are mine.
So that wraps up every big Nintendo Switch game coming in February 2018. What do you think? Which games are you going to check out on the Switch next month? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.